Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy New Year to everybody watching out there on this video. Happy New Year, and hope everybody can hear me okay. And I wish you all the prosperity this year, 2018. Let's make it a great year. And today's talk topic, when I was picking it, before I picked it, I actually I did a survey. You can call it a survey, kind of like an informal survey. I was asking questions to people, and I was asking questions in particular to business owners, and I was saying, what is the one thing that you would like to be different in 2018? What is that one thing? If you could have a magic wand and just change one thing, what would it be? And, you know, the thing is that everybody's going to answer that question differently. But what I found out is that the answer to the question always seemed to be kind of the same. And what I mean by that is, people would say things like, well, JD, I need to make more money. Okay, great. So how are you going to make more money? You're going to reduce costs? How are you going to make more money? I already reduced costs, JD. All right, so how are you going to make more money? And inevitably, as you went down the rabbit hole, as I went down the rabbit hole with each and every single person, inevitably, it came down to the same thing, which is I need more customers. I need more revenue. I need more sales. I need more customers. All came down to that. And, I said to myself, yeah, what a novel idea, expand your customer base, right? And, I say that a little sarcastically, but anybody that's been coached by me in business or has followed me knows my famous line, which is common sense is in common. And hey, Cecilia. So common sense is in common. So a lot of times it's important for us as business owners and aspiring business owners to kind of talk this through. It's not about, like, I know that I wrote this on the Facebook ad, which is, I said, doubling your sales. But, I don't want anybody to get hung up on a number, because that's essentially what we do as business people, is we get hung up on a number, and then it becomes about this number, whether it's 1 million or 2 million or 5 million, whatever your number is that you're trying to reach on a annual basis, monthly basis in sales. If you make it about the number, then it kind of loses its sexiness, it loses its luster. And the fact is the question you get to ask yourself is, why did you get into business in the first place? And what I mean by that is your personal goals should be driving your business goals. Oftentimes, too many times, we see people getting wrapped up in the numbers. And it is about the numbers, and at the same time, why'd you get into business? So your personal goals must drive your business goals. So when I talk about doubling your client base, really what I'm talking about is lifestyle. That is what's possible, is to expand your lifestyle, to increase your lifestyle. Maybe for some of you, it's sending your kids to Ivy League schools, having them have a better life than you had. For everyone, it's going to be different. But I guarantee you, behind every goal, it's not about the sales number. It's about some personal goal that you have. And that's what you get to focus on. So we're going to cover about 8 to 10 different ways that you can expand your business. 8 to 10 different ways that you can expand your customer base. And I welcome each and every one of you to take notes. I take notes. I think it's a good habit to take notes on a regular basis. And, I encourage each and every one of you to take some notes today. So we're going to start with number one. First thing I think that's important when it comes to identifying and expanding your customer base is identifying who those people are. And what I mean to say by that is, who is your avatar? Who is that ideal client that you're looking for? And oftentimes business owners might go, oh, my ideal client is somebody between the ages of 35 and 55 female. I'm going to tell you right now that is not identifying your client. Identifying your client has to be more than just an age and a gender type. And what I mean by that specifically is, Is your ideal client married? Is your ideal client making six figures? Is your ideal client divorced? Do they have children? So, the more specific you can get about who your avatar is, who is your ideal client, the more success you're going to have in terms of targeting that audience. So, some of the questions to ask if you don't know who your avatar is, if you don't know who your ideal client is ask yourself, the person that I want to sell my product or service to, what is their dreams? What is their biggest dreams? By finding out what their dreams are, you can be the solution to them having those dreams come true. So adversely, just like it's important to know what your ideal client's dreams are, similarly, or I should say adversely, it's important to know what their biggest fears are. What poses the biggest threat to your ideal client? So when you know what is their biggest dreams and what is their biggest fears, you can now create the solution for both. So how is your product, how is your service going to be a solution for this potential person, this particular human being moving forward? And the great thing about it is once you know what their dreams are and what their fears are, you can position the conversation accordingly. You can talk to people specifically about, hey, listen, I know that you're worried about X, Y, and Z. There's many people that I speak to on a regular basis that have the same exact fears as you. So you start to position yourself, hey, Anu, you start to position yourself as somebody that is not only the expert, but somebody that is cares, that genuinely cares about the fact that you are fearful of this. So who is your ideal client? And more specifically, if you want to know who your ideal client is, what are their dreams? What are their fears? And how are you and your product and service in alignment with being the solution to those dreams and to those fears? All right, so that's number one. Number two, and this is just the modern day. Before it used to be about being the best. Who is the best at this? Who's the best at that? Today, I think with the fact that there's so much competition, there's so many people out there trying to do the same thing in business, it's about distinguishing yourself. So it's not about what makes you the best. It's about what makes you different. What makes you stand out from everybody else. So I always think that it's great to be creative. If you are a coffee shop owner, if you own a cafe, having a poet's recital, or if you own a retail store, let's say you have like some type of gift shop or some type of retail store, having a consultation maybe every once in a while to talk about your product line and how they can use it. Oftentimes, there's a lot of people that might be interested in your product line, but they don't know how to use your products. They might have a general idea, but they're intimidated somehow. So that might be a great idea for a retail store. If you're a wholesaler and you want to distinguish yourself from other people, maybe offering some type of creative incentive, like, okay, for every new account that signs up on the 5th of the month, they get 5% rebate on their second order. So you're going to always be faced with competition, and the best way to attack the competition is by not being better than them, but by standing out from them. So, I'm in the life coaching business along with my partner Michelle, and one of the things that we like to do is have other people on, have other experts. So we like to do cross consulting and having experts in other fields. That's something that you could do also if you're providing some type of consultation service. Hey, Eve. So you want to show people that you're innovative. You want to show people that you're open-minded, and you want to show people value. At the end of the day, it's about creating value. And like I said, it's not about being the best. It's about distinguishing yourself. So we covered 2 topics so far. In one, we said, who is your avatar? Who is your ideal client? Identifying them, getting down to the specifics of who your avatar is. Number 2 was distinguishing yourself, getting people to notice you and separating yourself from everybody else. Remember, it's not about being the best. It's about being different. And that moves us on to the third thing that can help you expand your customer base, double your business in 2018. That's what we're talking about here. And more specifically, doubling your lifestyle so that your kids can have that ideal life that maybe that you didn't have, but that matters to you. Or, you can have that ideal lifestyle in the second half of your life. Whatever the case may be, your personal goals get to drive your business goals. So with that, number 3 is staying cutting edge. And what do I mean by cutting edge? The way that most businesses actually die or stop growing is when they continue to be stubborn and use the same old methods that they've been using all the way up until now. So to the extent that you are up with the times, to the extent that you're a trend setter, or at least you know what the trends are in your industry, those things bode well for you. People want to know about how your product or service, your business, is going to be a solution. So one of the things that's going to be really important for you is knowing what's going on in the world. Being part of being cutting edge is knowing what are the social, economic changes that are happening in the world that's possibly driving a particular perspective, a particular outlook. What are the current events that are going on in the world? And how can you position yourself, again, as the solution? How can you position yourself as the solution, as somebody that sympathizes and understands what people are going through, is basically on the finger of the pulse of the people, at the heartbeat of the people, so that people know not only that you're an expert, but that you genuinely care, that you actually care about them, you care about what they're going through, and you're up with the times, that you're current. So being cutting edge, being somebody that is up with the times, being somebody that can be relatable with the times. So, when you're talking about your product or your service, you're relating it to what's going on in society today. You're relating it to what might be going on in that person's dreams. Remember, in the first step, we talked about what are their dreams and what are their fears. So relating what's going on a macro level in the world and relating it on a micro level to their life, to their household, to their family unit, and what's going on in their life. So being relatable by being cutting edge, by always staying on top of what's going on and what's driving perspective. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a no-brainer. This one, everybody has to be doing number 4, and that's referrals. So what are referrals? Your best recommendations are going to come from your happy clients, the people that are already doing business with you, the people that are happy with your product or service, the people that are going to brag about you. And so being able to talk to people. And Eve, this is really good for you, Eve. I know you're listening on. Like, Eve, you've got a great voice, so maybe talking to, some of the people that are your clients. My son is one of your clients, that makes me one of your clients, reaching out to a person like me and saying, hey, JD, do you know anybody in your sphere of influence that's looking for a vocal coach? And everybody, by the way, if you're looking for a voice coach and you happen to be in the Westchester County area, Eve Soto, no joke. Great teacher, great voice, and just a great person. So, for each and every one of you, referrals, being able to go to your existing customer base, press the easy button. Talk to your existing clients that are happy with whatever it is that you're offering, and just ask them, hey, listen, can you recommend me to some of the people that might want my service? Your batting average is going to go up so much when you're on a sales call that came recommended from one of your existing clients. Think about it. They've done all the heavy lifting for you. They've essentially established trust. That's the biggest part of a new client, is how do they get to trust you? You will never be able to brag about yourself and big yourself up better than an existing client that's already using your product or service, already raving about, oh, you've got to meet this guy, JD. Oh, you've got to meet this person, so-and-so. It's the best recommendation is the recommendations that come from your happy clients. So if you're not doing this already, by all means, referrals. Each and every one of you needs to pick up the phone tomorrow, talk to your existing clients, and say, listen, I need a referral. I need 5 new clients. I need 3 new clients. I need 10 new clients. Can you help me? Can you help me expand my reach so that I can go out there and do what I've done for you and make a difference with more people? And that brings me to number 5. So we've talked about referrals. Now I want to talk about something that's not necessarily on a client basis, but maybe through cross-branding. We have something, it's called cross-brand affiliation. What is cross-brand affiliation? So you have a message. Your product, your service provides a message, right? Now, there are other companies that contextually have the same exact message as you. Now, they may not compete against you because their product line might be different, but they might have the same overall message that you do. So let me give you an example. If you're somebody who is in the weight loss business, let's say you're in the weight loss business. Let's say you have vitamins or protein shakes that help people lose weight, and it has a whole bunch of health benefits. What you could do is you could get, let's say, for example, if you want to expand your reach, instead of just your clients, like we talked about in referrals, you can get other people that are in business just like you, but that don't compete against you. For example, if you're in the weight loss business, having personal trainers, people that are already established experts in the field, talk about your weight loss product. Because here's the thing, when you can expand your reach into somebody else's community, there's a couple of things that are happening. One is that there's already trust. They're in somebody else's community. So now you are a newcomer. They don't know you, but you've expanded your reach through this affiliate. Let's say it's a personal trainer if you have a weight loss product, right? And now they're recommending you. Now, why are they doing that? Because you're going to pay them to do that. It's different than referrals from your existing clients. These are people that are incentivized to talk about how great you are, to talk about how great your service is, to talk about how your service is going to change their life forever, because they're going to use this promo code and they're going to get the benefit from it. So affiliates is a big part. I want to give you a personal example of affiliates in my world. So one of the things that I'm looking to do right now is find motivated sellers. What's a motivated seller? We talked about this probably a couple of weeks ago, where we talked about distressed sales. People that are not doing well. Maybe they've had like some circumstance really rock their life, like a death in the family or a job loss or a divorce, whatever the case may be. And they need to sell their home really quickly for cash. So those are the types of clients that I'm looking for. Now, how would a guy like me find somebody like that? How would I find people? Let's say I don't have them in my sphere of influence directly, but I know people who know people who know people who know people that have issues that an all cash deal and selling their house would be a benefit. So who are those people that I know? So one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm talking to probate lawyers. I'm talking to financial planners. Why am I talking to these particular people? Because just like the personal trainer is the expert in weight loss for their client, and their client is going to listen to them, a probate attorney, somebody who's dealing with estates, is going to be advising the estate, the family, the children, on what they should be doing with their home. Hey, I know a guy named JD. He can help you out. He helps people just like you. He helps people like you that are going through hard times get and turn the pages in life and move on in life and do it in a relatively seamless manner. So there is nothing like a recommendation from somebody who's a so-called expert in their industry. So cross-branding affiliation is huge. Think about the people, once again, before we wrap up, just to finish this topic on cross-brand affiliation, think about those people that do not compete against you, but share the same message as you do, contextually speaking. That could be a mouthpiece for you. That could be somebody that champions your product or your service and is the so-called expert to their client base that now becomes your potential client base. So that's cross-brand affiliation. And we talked about expertise in terms of cross-brand affiliation. That's going to bring me to step number 6. Step number 6, establish yourself as the expert. Now, what do I mean by establish yourself as the expert? Nowadays, blogging is a very big thing. Doing what I'm doing right now, doing Facebook Lives is a very big thing. Picking a particular topic that is in relation with your business, with your industry. So, for example, if you're a chef or if you have a catering business, you might want to blog about healthy food choices. Start a blog, start writing about something that's parallel to what it is that you have as your product or your service. It's how you create awareness. It's how people get to know who you are, what you stand for, what matters to you. And I promise you that when you create that relatedness, people are going to be able to relate to you on a human level, on a cellular level. They're going to know what's in your heart. They're going to know that this is what matters to so and so, and this is what counts for them. And guess what? That's what matters for me. So the next time when I have an event, I'm going to use this particular catering company because they wrote about healthy food. Just as an example. So it could be blogging, it could be YouTube videos, it could be Facebook Lives. Now social media is running rampant. Everything is social media now. So it's almost like if you're not on social media, you're like obsolete. You're a dinosaur. So whatever you've got to do to promote and create value, when you're establishing yourself as the expert, what you're really doing is you're creating value, free content, free value that's going to have people win in their everyday lives. They're going to take the tools that you give them, they're going to go apply it and integrate it in their regular everyday life. And when they succeed, when they're able to succeed, I promise you that when they actually do need the product that you're offering, whatever your service is, you have a much better chance in getting that person to convert into a client than, let's say, somebody that they completely don't know. And I think that to the extent that you can create value, free content, that speaks louder than any Facebook ad or any Google ad or anything like that. I think that is a key in getting people to get to know you and get to basically get benefited from you in getting value. So definitely establishing yourself as an expert, whether it's blogging, whether it's videos, YouTube videos, Facebook Lives, whatever the case may be. All right, that brings me to number 7. And this kind of spins off of number 6, penetrating the market with giving something for free. So what's an example of giving something for free? If you are, I'll mention a friend of mine. So I have a friend of mine who basically for a living, what he does is he finds college students eligibility on student loans. So his expertise is in knowing the college systems, knowing the Pell Grant, the different state level, federal level grants that are available to kids that are about to go to college. He knows about minority eligibility if you fall into a certain bracket, if there's any type of funding for you. So what he does is that's how he makes his money, by basically charging to provide this service for kids that are about to go to college. But that's not what he offers on the front end. So let me just kind of tell you what he offers. So what he offers is a free consultation. Right? He offers a free consultation for what? For kids, students, to get clear on what type of school they want to go to, get clear on what they qualify for, and it's a completely free consultation. He runs you through the consultation, but what people don't realize is that consultation, that so-called free consultation, is a sales call. As far as I'm concerned, it's a sales call, because what he's doing is he's showing, one, how much he cares. He's creating value for free. Right? He's by creating value for free, he's also establishing trust. He's cultivating that relationship. Who do you think that student is going to go to, that the parent of the student is going to go to after that free consultation, after he's been able to create value for that person's kid and give them a piece of the blueprint? Maybe not the whole blueprint, but through a 30-minute consultation, give them just a snippet, just a taste of what they could do for you. So what is the thing in your industry that you could provide for free to give people a taste of who you are? A taste of what your product or service could provide for them, or just merely a relationship. What would it be like to have a relationship with this particular person? So what is it that you could do for free? 30 minutes, 1 hour, or maybe it's a giveaway, something to create a relationship. Start to cultivate that relationship and penetrate the market. So that brings me to number 8. And this one's a no-brainer: social media. Like I said a few minutes ago, if you are not on social media, you're a dinosaur. Nowadays everything is social media, and it's kind of like adapt or die. Like I fought it for so long, and I came really late to the party. Full admission. This Facebook Live and all this stuff is all relatively new to me. And I'm 41. So I'm not old, but I'm also not from this millennial generation where this stuff is just, like they don't even think about it. It's just second nature to them. So I'm kind of in the middle, but there's no point in complaining. Social media is here, and it's adapt or die. Nowadays through Facebook ads, through Insta stories, and all kinds of things, you can create followers, expand your reach, have people talking about you, create awareness. If nothing else, create awareness for what it is that you do. Create awareness of what it is that's, again, in your heart. What is your message? What is your message? What is your company's message? And through that, whether they become immediate sales that you can convert, or they're sales down the road when they actually have a problem that they need a solution for and they remember you, social media is I would say also one of the most inexpensive ways to market yourself. It's a lot cheaper to do Facebook ads than it is to put up a billboard on Route 95, or even doing Google AdWords is more expensive than doing, let's say, for example, Facebook advertising. So social media, I have somebody that helps me out with the social media. I am not good at it at all, so I actually pay somebody to help me run my social media. So don't think that because I'm sharing this with you that you have to do it alone. You can also maybe get somebody to help you out, maybe a young person that's particularly savvy. That's not my cup of tea, but there are people that are really good at it. And I think that just because you're not good at something, or because you didn't grow up in a generation where that was something that you learned, doesn't mean you don't have to do it. You still, if it's going to help you expand your customer base, if it's going to help you grow, expand your reach, then you've got to find ways. So, for those of you that are older, that kind of are afraid of this technology and social media in general, I say, get over it and find people that you can be in conversation with that can talk to you more in detail about how to create that value, how to do some Facebook ads, how to do some blogging, and so on and so forth. So number 8 is social media. Number 9, we're going to get to number 9 now. And this is one that a lot of people shy away from. This is where the battle is won or lost, is networking. Networking. My father and I, we used to talk in the office. We used to sit around in the office, and when it would get slow, I would get up and I would leave the office, and he would say, "Where are you going?" And I would say, "Dad, we don't make money sitting in this office. I got to go out there and be with the people." So for each and every one of you, who are those people? Who is your avatar? Who are the people that are out there that you could create value for, that could be your potential clients? And networking isn't just about building clients. I mean, it could be about, you going out. Let's say you're a life coach, and, one of the places that you might want to network if you're a life coach is in personal development events that are going on in your area, But don't look at it just as potential clients, because I think if you go in with the mindset as a networker that I'm going to go out there and get business, then it's going to show off that that's your agenda. I think being there, being yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, and just being very welcoming and greeting people and talking to people, asking them what they do. I think it's more important to be interested than interesting. So asking people what they do. What you'll find through networking is you'll cover a lot of the areas indirectly. Maybe it's not the client that you meet, but maybe it's a potential cross-brand affiliate. Maybe it's somebody that could serve as a vendor in your social media platform. So when you go networking, I think it's important to not go there with an agenda, to the extent that you can go out there and do it from an organic place, and do it from a place of love. That's what as sappy as that sounds, do it from a place of love. Just, go out there and meet people and create value for them. I think the rest of it will shake out the way it's supposed to. Which brings me to my Final one. This is number 10, and I call it the law of large numbers. And what is the law of large numbers? It's a mindset. It's really a mindset, which is the more requests that you do, the more likely you are to succeed. I'm going to repeat that. The more you request, the more likely you are to succeed in business. So I have something which is called ROR, which is rate of request. What does that mean? How many times in a day, in a week, in a month, are you requesting somebody to do business with you? Are you requesting somebody, are you offering your service? Are you offering your product to a potential client? So your business is going to go where you go. To the extent that you're out there proactively in all of the ways that we mentioned, going out there and throwing a whole bunch of spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks, right? It's throwing a lot of mud on the wall and seeing what sticks. That is going to be the person that ultimately succeeds in business. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So people overestimate what they could do in a month, but then they underestimate what they could do over the course of decades. And this is important to understand, that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a slow and steady, like the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise won the race because the tortoise was consistent. And that's what you have to be. When it comes to requesting, you have to be consistent. Set a goal for yourself. How many people are you going to reach out to this week about your product or service? How many are you going to reach out to in the course of January? How about the first quarter of this year? And where do you want to be in terms of new clients by, let's say, the midway point of this year? Let's say by June 30th of 2018, how many new clients will you have? So set some milestones, set some goals, but remember that it comes down to what you do on a daily basis. How many times are you requesting? So I want to share one last thing about ROR, and I'm going to tell you one of my flaws. I like to, even share, maybe in a vulnerable way, and tell you a little bit about my warts in business, because we all have them. We all have our hang-ups. So for me, my ROR, my rate on request is actually very high. Now, what does that mean? That on the surface looks good. Oh, JD, you're a great closer. That means to the extent that you're requesting from people to do business with you, you have a very high response rate. A lot of people are doing business with you. The answer to that is yes, they are. But I also think that there's something wrong if your rate of request is too high. And what I mean by that is if your rate of request is too high, if you're closing more than 50% of the people that you're talking to, I'm going to tell you that you're probably not talking to enough people. And I think that that's where I've been as a business person, where I get to grow. And for me, it's about image consciousness. I'm very image conscious. So, as I have grown older and as I've had some level of success, I think the young boy in me who was just willing to go out there and talk to every single person, there is a little bit of that image conscious, that fear of failure. And I'm just being very honest with you. So everyone's going to have their hang up. I live in the real world. I'm made of flesh and blood just like you are. So I have an issue with this as well, in looking bad and, failing, whatever the case may be. But, at the end of the day, something's got to be more important than something else. In life, in any life equation, something's got to be more important than something else. So either that hang up is important and being afraid of failing is important, or your lifestyle is important. Your children's lifestyle is important. So what are you making important? What is it that you are giving your power to? Rate of request, I think there's a sweet spot for it. You want it to be effective because you don't want to just be failing all over the place. You definitely want to have some level of percentage where you don't fall under. However, you don't want it to be so high that you're just not even taking chances and you're closing half the people you're talking to because you're barely talking to anybody. So find your sweet spot and your ROR, your rate of your rate on request, and go out there and be willing to make a mess. I think all of the things that we shared on this Facebook Live today, some are going to work, some are not going to work, some are going to work immediately, some are going to take longer to work, but just be willing to be a mess. They say that every master was once a disaster. So you're going to go through your evolution, and from the caterpillar to the butterfly, you're going to go through that cocooning, and you're going to find your sweet spot. You're gonna find out what works. And that's pretty much my talk today about the different ways that you can expand your business. Speaking of caterpillars, I just mentioned caterpillars. That was not by coincidence. So for those of you that enjoy these talks on business and just in general on personal development and transformation, we are having a tour coming up next month. It's about 5 weeks away. The tour was created by Michelle Giovanni Lopez. For those of you that know her or don't know her, she is an absolute visionary, somebody that lives and breathes this work so vividly. And she is the creator, along with a couple of other trainers that we have. Maurice, Jackie Rodriguez, and myself are going to be the 4 trainers that are going to be on this tour. It's happening in Samana Bay, Dominican Republic, aka Paradise, and it truly will be a paradise. It's February 15th to February 19th. It's 4 nights, 5 days. Go to the website if you're interested in finding out more. It's www.callingallgamechangers.com. Again, it's www.callingallgamechangers.com. It's a 4-night, 5-day tour. It's happening during President's Day week, so for a lot of you, you'll be off, or you have the ability to take off during this time. Don't miss it. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about money and business. We're going to be talking about spirituality. We're going to do meditation. We're going to be watching whales, doing whale watching, and we're going to all do it from all this growing, all this personal development that we get to do. We get to do it in absolute paradise. So, each and every one of us has a butterfly inside us. We might think that we're the caterpillar, struggling to even walk 1 inch in the course of a day or an hour. But we all have wings. We all get to fly, and we all have that butterfly in us. But we don't practice flying in the air. We practice flying on the ground. We practice flying on the runways of life. So when you try to take off and fly and you fall back down, remember that it's just about getting back up. It's about getting back up over and over, and that's what success is. Success is just a series of failures. So if you like what we talk, if what I'm talking about, if it resonates with you, if it sounds like something that you'd be interested in, definitely go online, fill out an interest form. You could reach out to me. You could private messenger me as well. It's the Metamorphosis Tour. It's happening February 15th to the 19th, www.callingallgamechangers.com. And that's my talk for today. So once again, as I love to wrap up, the greatest days of your life lay ahead. I love you, and I'll see you at the top.